Is a low FODMAP diet right for you? In this video, I'm going to be discussing IBS and how following a low FODMAP diet can make such a huge difference. IBS affects anywhere from 25 to 45 million people just in the US alone. It has been researched that IBS affects worldwide around 10 to 15% of people, predominantly those people being women under the age of 50. About 2 in 3 people that suffer from IBS are women under the age of 50. Now, if you are someone who struggles with IBS, or you've ever had symptoms associated with IBS, you know how debilitating and overwhelmingly frustrating it can be. As someone who struggles with IBS, this is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart because I have gone through so many different protocols, cutting out this food and that food, trying to manage my symptoms. The symptoms of IBS are abdominal pain, bloating, cramping, constipation, diarrhea, nausea, upset stomach, insomnia, and painful menstrual cycles. So all of these can be symptoms of IBS, plus I'm sure that there's more. FODMAPs are a type of food molecule mostly made up of short-chain carbohydrates that are poorly digested or fermentable inside of the human gut. FODMAP stands for fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols. It's a little bit of a mouthful. These are specific sugars found in things like fructose, lactose, galactans, fructans, and polyols. Because they're not so easily absorbed in the gut, they can cause fermentation through our gut bacteria and cause an insane amount of GI distress and gastrointestinal disturbances. The exact cause of IBS still isn't known, which makes it such a frustrating illness to treat, and treatment can vary from person to person because each person is so different. There's also a huge link between our brain and our gut and our emotional well-being when it comes to IBS, which makes it even more challenging to treat. There has been a huge body of evidence to suggest that following a low FODMAP diet can make a huge difference to people suffering with IBS. What are some of high FODMAP foods that IBS sufferers and people that have a lot of gastrointestinal issues need to stay away from or drastically limit while following a low FODMAP diet? These could include artichoke, asparagus, onions, garlic, leek, mushrooms, cauliflower, broccoli, green peas, and sugar snap peas. So those are the main vegetables to limit or cut out when you're having IBS flare-ups. Now, this isn't a diet to follow for the rest of your life, but if you are suffering with IBS, cutting out these foods for a time being can really have a huge impact. The fruits that are high in FODMAPs are apples, even including apple juice, dry fruits, mangoes, cherries, peaches, plums, nectarines, and watermelon. Dairy is also a huge source of FODMAPs because of its lactose. Most beans and legumes, unless they have been soaked or sprouted, which is something that you usually need to add back in slowly once you've eliminated them out of your diet to see if they're a trigger for IBS. Wheat, barley, and rye for grains are high in FODMAPs, and high fructose corn syrup and honey as a natural sweetener are also high in FODMAPs. So if you're consuming things that have honey in them or high fructose corn syrup, that could also be a trigger for IBS symptoms because they're high in FODMAPs. And finally, for nuts and seeds, we see that the 3 top highest nuts for FODMAPs are almonds, cashews, and pistachios. If your diet is high in those 3 nuts or meals containing those nuts, that can also be a trigger for IBS symptoms. While the diet might sound quite restrictive, that is really all there is. Most other food is safe for you to consume, but like with any IBS sufferer, we know that certain foods can trigger us on certain days without any explanation. So it's also important that if you have been struggling with IBS or symptoms, to keep a food diary to see what foods are triggering you. Chocolate and alcohol can also be triggers for IBS. Avocados, celery when eaten in abundance, and sweet potatoes are all good to eat on moderate levels, but they are high in FODMAPs as well. So if you're eating a ton of avocado or a ton of sweet potato or celery and everything, that can also be a contributing factor. There have been studies done where people have thought that they were gluten intolerant or gluten sensitive when they were actually intolerant to FODMAPs and foods that are high in FODMAP. I have found great success by eating a low FODMAP diet, whether that's for a prolonged period of time or a short period of time. I do notice a big difference in my own symptoms, and it is a type of diet that I'm acutely aware of now when I'm eating certain things because I know that they're triggers for me. It doesn't matter how healthy a food can be if it's not right for your body, and if it triggers symptoms, it's not healthy for you. Do you struggle with IBS? I would love to know because so many people struggle with IBS. If you do, have you tried a low FODMAPs diet and has it worked for you? Please leave me a comment below, like this video, share it, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Have a lovely day, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.